What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and in today's video, I want to talk about an awesome lease deal, at least in my opinion, on a Lucid Air Pure, which on the Lucid website, they say you can lease for as little as $549 a month, and this car has an MSRP of $69,900. So if you're in the market or considering shopping for a Lucid Air, I think you'll get a lot of value from this video. So what we'll do in this video is we'll go to the Lucid website and we'll talk about this lease deal in detail. We'll go over the mileage, we'll talk about the actual due at signing amount, we'll talk about the registration cost, the tax costs, and I'll give you all the little details that you're probably looking for if you're shopping for this car. And then in the second part of this video, what we'll do, we'll run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Lucid Air Pure. And that just shows you why, this Lucid is a good lease deal in terms of value. So it's kind of a value analysis that I run on this Lucid Air Pure. And then in the third part of this video, I'll quickly talk about why leasing this Lucid Air Pure is a much better financial decision than financing or buying this car outright. So if that sounds good to you, please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow or subscribe. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the computer behind me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the Lucid website. Let me actually see if I can zoom in and make this a little bigger for you guys to see. We're on the Lucid website. The zip code that I'm working with is 98101, which is a Seattle area zip code. And as you can see right here, Lucid is kind of advertising. It says you can buy a Lucid Air from $69,900, or you can lease one from $549 a month for 36 months with $5,549 due at signing. So then I scroll down and I see this Lucid Air Pure right here. So this is a Pure trim. So as you can see on the left hand side, you have the Pure trim, the Touring trim, and the Grand Touring trim. The Pure is kind of their entry level, their base level trim. I know it's a $70,000 car, but it is their base level Lucid Air. Now, as you can see, you can lease at $549 a month, or you can buy at $63,975 after the $75 air credit. Now you'll see that this is a model year 2024 car. It's the single motor rear wheel drive car. It's the infinite black color, the Mojave Pure Luxe leather alternative interior. It has the 19-inch aero range wheels. It has the platinum appearance package, which I'm not really a fan of. I like the blacked out appearance package. The aluminum roof, Dream Drive, surreal sound, and 12-way power heated front seats. So let's go ahead and click on view details. And when you click on view details, you go to this page. You have max horsepower of 430 horsepower, which is pretty good, considering it's an electric car, whereas the base Tesla Model S long range has 670 horsepower. But anyways, the EPA estimated range is 419 miles, which is solid. 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds, which is that's very respectable. And if we go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom here, what you're going to see is a payment calculator here, and Lucid actually has a really good payment calculator, and I think Tesla must have taken some notes from Lucid's payment calculator, because this is my first time actually using this payment calculator in detail, and I thought it was very, very intuitive and very transparent. Like, it gives you everything that you need to know based on where you live. So my delivery zip code is 98101. As I mentioned, I'm in Seattle. A city with relatively higher taxes than any other place in the country, both in terms of registering your vehicle and just having to pay taxes on any other rebates. So as you can see here, you can adjust the term of the lease. You can do a 36-month term, you can do a 48-month term, a 24-month term, or an 18-month term. To my knowledge, the 36-month term is the sweet spot. It offers the best value. It's kind of from a value metric, it's the best term, the 36-month term, but you can get a 24-month if you wanted to. The down payment, I'm just going to leave it at default $5,000. You can adjust this as you'd like. I'm going to leave this at excellent credit score, 800 plus. And then in terms of mileage, we'll do 10,000 miles. But as you can see, you can do 5,000 miles a year, 7,500 miles a year, 15,000 miles a year. and 12,000 miles a year as well. And my recommendation to you is, if you know you're going to drive the car more than 10,000 miles a year, it's better to just get a 12 or a 15,000 mile a year lease, as you can see here, upfront, rather than pay the excess mileage penalty. I'm not sure what the excess mileage penalty is. I think it's 25 cents a mile. And actually, while we're talking about it, let me just look it up really quick. So it's actually, I think if I click on this, it actually shows up. And actually it's right over here. So it's in this small little language here where my cursor is, and I'll try to zoom in so you guys can see it. And as you can see, it says any mileage over 10,000 miles a year, you'll have to pay a 25-cent mile excess mileage penalty. So for those of you that are going to drive more than 10,000 miles a year, as I mentioned, it's cheaper to just pay for the mileage up front rather than paying that 25 cents a mile. Now, the cool thing is here that you have this toggle that says show taxes and fees. So if I actually toggle this on, the numbers readjust and account for essentially everything that you need to know in terms of pricing. Because what happens a lot of times is people see this $5,000 down and they're like, oh, that's all I need to put down. So they go to the Lucid dealership or to any dealership where they're shopping, and they see an ad that says $5,000 down, and that's what they think they have to put down, right? They walk in assuming that that's all they're going to have to put out of pocket, but this is just a capitalized cost reduction. All it is lowering your monthly payment, so it's like money that you're putting towards the lease. It's not accounting for taxes that you'll have to pay on rebates. It's not accounting for registration costs, and then it's not including acquisition fees and other fees and documentation fees and such. So, anyways, let's go ahead and look at the price breakdown on this Lucid Air. As you can see, we have a vehicle price of $69,900. We have a destination fee of $1,500, an acquisition fee of $995. And then you have an air credit of $7,500, and then you have a plug-in electric vehicle savings of $7,500. So I think the way that Lucid does this is the manufacturer is providing this $7,500 as an additional incentive or rebate, and this plug-in electric vehicle savings is just the EV tax credit being forwarded on to the consumer. So, but combined, it's $15,000 discount, which is nice. And then you have a documentation fee of $75 and a down payment of $5,000. And if we factor in all of the fees, you'll see you have an order deposit of $500 that you'll have to pay. And then estimated registration and other fees is going to be $1,300, which will be due at signing, and you'll have to pay it every single year going forward. And then you have upfront tax, and this is we tax on the rebates. So that $15,000 that you can see here, the $7,500 plus $7,500, the tax on that, Lucid is approximating to be $1,300. And then your first month's payment, so your total due at delivery is going to be $7,812. And that's what I talk about. A lot of people say, hey, the down payment is $5,000, as you can see here, but the due at delivery is actually $7,812 when you factor in first month's payment, taxes, fees, and registration costs. Now, what I want to do in this part of the video is actually run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Lucid to show you guys why, in my opinion, this is actually a great lease deal in terms of value. So what we'll do is we'll take the due at delivery amount of $7,812 and we'll subtract the monthly payment of $605 a month from this due at delivery amount because it's included in the due at delivery amount. And when I do that, I get $7,207. Now what I'll do is I'll divide this by 36 to break this into 36 equal parts, and I get $200. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the monthly payment of $605 back in, and since this is a post-tax monthly payment, your effective monthly payment with all fees, taxes rolled in, and putting nothing down, this is a hypothetical situation, you have an effective monthly payment of $805 a month. And when I divide this by this vehicle's MSRP, which is $69,900, I get 0.0115. I'll multiply this by 100 to move the decimal point over 2 spots and turn it into a percentage. And as you can see, I get 1.15%. Now with my 1.25% rule of leasing, anytime you get a number when you take the car's effective monthly payment. So assuming zero down, all taxes and fees rolled in. Anytime you take the effective monthly payment and divide it by the vehicle's MSRP, and you get a number over 1.5%, that's not a good lease deal. If you get a number under 1.5%, that's a good lease deal. If you get a number under 1.25%, that's a great lease deal. And if you get a number under 1%, that's an amazing lease deal in terms of value. Because remember, right? Two cars that are $70,000 MSRP can have very different payments, right? There's some cars out there that have a $70,000 MSRP, like this Lucid Air, and the monthly payment on that car when you lease it is $1,200 a month, right? So if you take that $1,200 and divide it by the $69,900, you're going to get a number way over 1.5%, which wouldn't make for a good lease deal. But this car sitting at 1.15% is a great lease deal in terms of value. And the best part is you don't even have to negotiate this lease deal, right? That's what's very enticing in terms of the Rivian, Lucid, and Tesla value proposition. Is a lot of times we as consumers, when we see a lease ad and we go to the dealer, we have to negotiate, and we might have to go to multiple dealers. But with Lucid, the nice thing is that what you see is what you pay. Now, they may have overestimated or underestimated some of the registration fees, but in general, you're going to be sitting at about 1.15%, which makes this a great lease deal in terms of value. And if you look at the down payment here, and if we compare this lease to if you were to finance this same car, you'll see that the due at delivery here is $7,812. Let's just call it $8,000. And if you were to finance this car, so let's just say loan, let's make the down payment $8,000 and show taxes and fees. You'll see that number one, you only get a $7,500 credit, so you don't get the additional EV tax credit because, from my understanding, when you finance this car, you don't get the $7,500 EV tax credit, the additional credit that was available when you lease this car, but when you finance it, you don't. And that's kind of the tax loophole with leases, right? All of the vehicles, regardless of their MSRP, regardless of where they're manufactured, regardless of your income, you get the $7,500 EV tax credit. So with the lease, you're getting a total of $15,000 in rebates, and with the purchase, you're only getting half of that $7,500 in rebates. And as you can see, as a result, the estimated monthly payment is $936 a month with the same $8,000 down. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I think leasing the Lucid Air is a better financial decision than financing the Lucid Air. And on top of that, when you lease a car, you've got downside protection in terms of depreciation, right? So you know what your depreciation is going to be because let's be honest, right? We don't know what the depreciation is going to be on this Lucid, and we don't even know if Lucid is going to be around 1, 2, 3 years or 4 years, right? So why would you buy a car where you don't know if the company is even going to exist in a matter of 5 years? So if you're interested in this Lucid, what I would do is I would lease this, and because it's number one, it's a great value in terms of leasing. Number two, you're protecting yourself from downside depreciation, and number three, you're protecting yourself just in case Lucid goes out of business, because if you were to buy or finance this car, you'd be stuck with this car. And so if you guys have any questions about this lease or any other lease deal or just car leasing in general, be sure to drop them in the comments section below. But with that, I'm going to call it a video. Thank you all for watching. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.